Work on the BSA B31 has been on hold for a little while, which is okay because I've had other things to do. Been working on the Suzuki on the ignition. I've also just been waiting for some parts to turn up, and they have turned up today. And it's these little beauties. If you can guess what they are. To go there, one each side, and they are for the rear sets. Just in case I do decide to do a Goldstar replica, a Clubman replica, I can then fit the rear sets there. So that'll be the next little job on the frame, will be welding these in place. I do feel a little bit wide actually. Might have to just fit these down a little bit in here. Need a bit more of a radius in there, I think, to fit that properly. But yeah, that'll be the next thing. Yeah, it took a little while to get here. These actually came from Denmark. I think they took something like 2 or 3 days to get from Denmark to Dartford, and then a further 12 days to get from Dartford to Norwich. So yeah, don't quite know what the hold up was there, but yeah, got them now. So I can now get on with the frame. I just need to get the Suzuki off the ramp now, get that out of the way. So to make sure I've got these square to each other, just run a little bit of threaded rod through the middle so they're both connected up. Just a little bit of adjustment needed once I can get them sitting in the right place. And I'll just give them a tack, take the rod out and weld them on there properly. That's just to hold them square, really. Right, so I've got these welded on now. Just got to dress them a bit, dress the welds a bit. So the next thing is going to be, just in case I do want to fit a QD wheel hub in the future, there needs to be a hole here, or sleeve, for the fulcrum piece which goes in there, so the brake lever goes this side of the rod and everything. So I'll just turn this sleeve, bushing, whatever you like to call it, turn that up on the lathe, and I need to drill a hole here, insert that and weld that in. So that'll be the next thing. Right, so now start to get this back together. I've just gone over the frame and some of the parts. There's some of that, which I've used before, works pretty well actually. Obviously not quite as tough as powder coat, but let's say, because I couldn't get this out and this has rubber bushes inside, not really possible to get it powder coated, so it's painted instead. Got the centre stand back on. These are the rear set mountings for the Clubman style, and That is the for the brake pedal. Push through there for that. Gearbox mountings and the headstock, and some of the other bits up here. Just been painting up. Yeah, so sort of heading towards reassembly really. I think the next thing will be to get the headstock back in. Get it back to a rolling chassis and yeah, start looking like a bike again. Other thing I did do was I just re-drilled a hole here for the chain guard. It was sitting a bit high. In fact, if you look at the swing arm that's actually on the Goldstar, it doesn't have these. Just has a small tube there, that end, and there's a couple of brackets come up here to hold the chain guard. This bit isn't here at all, I don't think, and there's a little plate that goes there which holds the torsion arm, but I'm going to use that if I do manage to get a QD hub for it, that is. If not, I was going to stick with the old hub, and I shall have to bend the brake pedal back a bit, because obviously it's going to be too long down there if I'm going to have rear pegs, or rear sets rather. Right, can you see where I'm going with this? Clubman style bars. This is the part of the Clubman style headlight bracket, and this here is a piece of this tube. So it's just a case of cutting this down to perfect size. I mean, it's all sort of just wedged in there at the minute, but once the stanchion is up inside, that will be a good fit. So there's the first fork leg back in place, though I may just take this out again because I managed to get a little bit more of a polish on the second tube, so I might just repolish that one. So I'm now going to do this one and just show you the tool I made just for pulling the fork stanchions. This piece here is actually just one of the old one of these nuts. I just happen to have a spare one laying around, so I just turned the hex head off that, so it'll actually go through the top of the yoke there. See that? I haven't got that far enough up. Let me just readjust this. Yeah, so that will actually pass through there, and oh yeah, and drilled and tapped it for this piece of M10 threaded rod. This piece here is just I think that was an old Suzuki brake piston, just so I've got something to use as stop. and obviously the nut there, just so I can draw that up, and a couple of nuts locked on the top, though I could just weld a T-bar on there would probably be better. Yeah, that's the tool just for pulling up the stanchions. Yeah, so let's just get this other one in there. Oh yeah, and also just to give me a bit of extra, I've just got one of these old bushings, just gives me a bit of extra height here. I suppose what I could do is take that nut off and just weld this straight on the end, and this piece would come down a little bit further then, so I'll just use that instead. Right, so if I get this ready to go, bit of juggling act. Let's just turn this that way, might be easier. So that needs to go like that, that needs to go that way, and then we've got a bit of tube. That's 96mm, by the way, from there to there. Obviously, if you're making one of these yourself, it depends on the gap you've got between here. Right, so let's drop that down there. I'll just stop everything flapping around everywhere. Bomb. Should have done that first, really, shouldn't I? put oil in these as yet, but I'll do that at a later date. There we are. That's got to be tightened up, but that's basically it. Heavy on the front end now.